What is happening, budget builders, and welcome back to the channel. We're here with a really neat rescue today, a 1974 Dodge Monaco. Yeah, we're talking Blues Brothers. This thing has been tucked away in this barn since 1990. And in today's video, we're gonna attempt to get this thing out of here. We're gonna get it back, and we're gonna try to get it fired up for the first time in at least 34 years. Car made it back in one piece. The vinyl top, not so much. Most of it's gone, but with that being said, it goes to reveal just how nice of shape and solid this car actually is. I'd imagine this one fender, maybe hood. No, probably, I was thinking maybe replacement because it looks a little bit different. No, this thing sure looks to be all original. With that being said, I think first things first on this one, one of the most fun things to me after you drag a car out of a barn like this is washing it. So I think first things first, let's clean up, blow out this engine bay. Let's wash this thing and see how it turns out. Before we start cleaning it up, it'd be nice to get this thing up on some tires. These rear ones are clearly smoked, but it would be nice to get it up to see how it looks and everything, get those off of there. We did just so happen to have an extra spare off of one of our other Chryslers, and we also have the original spare out of this car. Much better. With this side, all that dragging, getting it up on the trailer, this brake did not break free whatsoever. All the other three surprisingly did. But while we have the wheel off, we might as well get in here, see if we can get it freed up. Look at the air ride. Let's give this thing some slight massaging. Wow! Probably should not have breathed that in. How did it? That was all the way in the back barn, all the way at the back of the property. We've dragged it all around here. Did you see that? I've never had a brake pop free like that.
I'm not complaining.
No, not complaining one bit. So again, kept really dry, just like most of this car. I'm sure it would need rebuilding. I imagine those wheel cylinders, if we could get them open, are completely shot. These pads might even be the original. Look at the thickness. There's nothing left. But as far as cleanliness, or as far as rust goes, those are some of the best looking brakes I've ever seen, especially for a car sitting as long as this one has. The bamboo forest there, surprisingly we don't have a ton of like field rat nests like we normally get as far as like little twigs and stuff piled up in here, but we do have a lot of rat poop and stuff in here, especially down here on top of this engine. So we want to get as much of that blown off as we possibly can. We also want to take care to not eat a bunch of turds. That is definitely going to help us as we start working on getting this thing running. Everything blew out of there pretty nice. It's a little crispy, but not bad. And man, everything under here is so original. It's like a time capsule. You can see the this Max air pump. That's for those big air shocks up underneath the back. That's pretty neat. Big old horn here. 400 big block. How does our oil look? Dark. Definitely a little thick, but not bad, and no moisture. What a good sign. But before we dig into that, let's get this thing cleaned up. Pretty crazy for initial blast off. I think we can do just a little bit more. We're gonna use some CLR and of course magic erasers. We got a ton of oxidization and surface rust that I think we can touch up a bit better. What we found is because of the checking in this old paint, by far the best way to get it cleaned up is to use Scotch-Brite. Now this is not fresh, these are old, these are used, they're very soft. We are doling it out a good bit, but should buff and wax out nice. We're not putting any hard scrapes or scratches into this. And this thing should clean up pretty good. Wow. It is amazing what a pressure washer and a whole lot of elbow grease will do. Not gonna lie, I am genuinely surprised. Far from perfect, but wow. I didn't realize that car was underneath all that grime and surface rust. Just a whole lot of cleaning up. I feel like a quick buff, wax, vinyl top, and other than the shortage of paint in a few spots, I think this thing would be a really, really slick driver. Definitely makes me feel like we probably should have done a full detail video, but we actually pulled 4 other really cool cars off of that estate that we have some really fun videos coming on. With that being said, let's get this hood popped. Let's see if we can't get this thing running. Man, oh man, look at that big old 2-barrel. Carburetor actually does not look that bad. That air cleaner kept that air clean, and it looks really dry in there. But first thing is first, let's go ahead and get these spark plugs pulled. Let's soak each of the cylinders down, and let's try to turn this thing over by hand and make sure this thing is free. Starting on the front here, which would be cylinder number 2. Not too bad. That looks good for what it is. Wow, that's an old plug. Good in the realm of these old things doesn't always mean good. It just means a lack of moisture, which is our main concern. For this cylinder does not have a lack of moisture. In fact, that's pretty crusty. That's why we do this right here. 6 is the way we like to see them. 8, another decent looking plug. The other side had so much room. This side has no room. Off to a good start. Cylinder 1 looks good. 3 looks not good at all. Okay. 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 5. Nice. Last but not least, 7. Looks pretty good. So obviously 2 of our cylinders there more than likely had intake or exhaust valves open, whichever the moisture was introduced into. Not terrible though. Let's soak this thing down with penetrating oil. Probably put some Marvel in both of those 2. Let it soak for a while and then see if it'll turn over. Able to get an 1.25 inch down here on the crank bolt. It's actually a little bit smaller than that. These belts are super crusty though. Sometimes that'll give you a false stuck engine, but if this one's stuck, it's probably not because of those belts. Feeling pretty good about it, so I've only got the ratchet on there. I'm not feeling very good about it anymore. Oh, there she goes. Just needed a tiny bit more leverage. No joke. That might have just been the belts. For anyone wondering, I've seen a couple comments about using this right here as a ratchet or a breaker bar. So this one's way out of calibration. This is one from a machine shop. It was a throwaway and it's big and it works perfect for stuff like this. Wow, definitely a bit nervous there, but glad it popped free. It just needed a tiny bit more loving. Now normally I'd like to just spin and spin and spin it over, but there's just no room on the front of this engine, especially with the fan and everything on there. Let's pull this ancient battery, put some power to this thing, see if anything comes to life, and see if it'll spin over. But before we start cranking this thing over, now that we know it's free, I'd like to go ahead and drain the oil. After all of these years of sitting, most of your gunk, moisture, crud, sludge is going to have settled down in the bottom of that pan. Obviously not all of it, but most of it. We can drain it, we can put fresh in there, and then we know our oil pump is going to be sucking up nice fresh oil. Churn everything up, run it, and if we feel it's needed, then we can go ahead and change it again. It's just cheap insurance. It's something I like to do just to know we're not kicking a bunch of trash through that engine. Oh, not bad at all. No sludge. That's what we like to see. Dang, I thought for sure that'd have some voltage. The truth. Door buzzer still works. That's annoying. Tail lights. That hardtop's pretty cool, isn't it? Moment of truth. Let's see if this thing will spin over. Good. Not getting anything, but I'm also not feeling any kind of resistance on the shifter. And I noticed down here, it doesn't actually appear to be hooked up. There is our shifter, and there is no bushing left on this thing. Yeah, that'll do for now. That's more like it. That starter sounds horrible. Got a radio. I know this might seem silly, but look at this ashtray. It's full of gum wrappers. Look at these Wrigley spearmint. How cool are those old things? And then check this out. It doesn't hold any pressure, but it works. We could actually get the air ride working on this thing again. Now that we're spinning over, it's time to go ahead and see if we can get fire. I'm not too sure. We'll have to see. I've noticed the electronic control module and this little module over here have let out all of their magic goo. Oh, cool. Electronic ignition. So hopefully that's fine. If we don't have fire, we either have a bad coil or bad control module or bad Hall effect sensor, but that's pretty uncommon. And that thing sure does look clean down in there. This cap is pretty crusty, but not super worn. I think we can clean it up a bit and it should be fine. That coil has seen better days, but you never know. Ahead, please. Heck yeah, what a quite reliable ignition system. And that right there is why most cars got away from points and condenser, because that setup right there just works. Now with that being said, more than likely, pretty soon this needs to be replaced. What the goo does is keep moisture out of that system right there, and it also keeps your temperatures down. It will overheat and it will get moisture in it. But just goes to show how dry this car was. For the most part, we've got fire. Going back in with plugs, we're gonna use OE Champions. We just wanna verify they are set to 35 thousandths. Fresh oil, we're turning over, so we've got air, we've got fire, we need fuel. Let's just throw a fuel line to this carburetor to see what it does. Doesn't look bad. When we were towing this car, I guess the jumping up and down, maybe a strap from underneath actually punctured a little hole in the tank. Not much came out, but the dribbles that did, stunk the whole place up. And so we know the fuel in this thing is no good and the tank needs some work, so we're just gonna hook up our temporary fuel system. Of course, we've got our boat tank run to our electric fuel pump, run to this carburetor, see if it tries to hold some fuel. It's filling up. No way it just took it and held. Let's see if we have accelerator pump. The throttle plates are frozen. I don't know about y'all. I'm ready to see if this thing will fire up. Let's see what this thing do. This thing might be short a couple cylinders. It's terrible. We might not have any compression. I'm gonna go ahead and verify we've got fire to our spark plugs. Oh, yeah. Firing like crazy. She wants it. Wow, that starter sounds terrible. We're leaving belt in the in all the pulleys. Yeah, baby! Oh no! Is my face covered in stuff or what? My eyes are packed full. Oh my goodness. 30-something-year-old gas just blew out everywhere. Look at the belts. They're coming apart. Oh my goodness. Look, there's belt in all the pulleys down there. And it's just disintegrating. But this thing is a runner. Any coolant? That's a no. It does smell like coolant though. We're gonna go ahead and put water in it just to make sure we don't have any major leaks, and then we can drain it out and put some coolant in it. But more than likely, this thing will probably need a few odds and ends like a thermostat and water pump. I say it's leaking. That freeze on it. That's the hose. Those are the original heater hoses, and that one is just spewing. Dad just noticed this last inspection here, which was 12/1/1989, this car had 98,797 miles. It now has 98,843 miles. So it's had 46 miles put on it since 1989. I cannot believe that it started pumping that nasty old gas. I know it's been leaking. There must still be some in that tank. Spray gas all in my eyes. This thing actually sounds pretty good other than the lack of exhaust. It looks like we are blowing stuff absolutely everywhere, probably just slap full of mouse nest, and probably where that moisture came from. I bet they've got mouse nest packed way up in the exhaust system here. I've gotten pretty good about keeping my face away from the carburetor. I didn't need all that hair on my hand though. That engine sounds good and healthy. If we're actually gonna make this thing run and run pretty good, we've gotta put a kit in that carburetor. Let's see what we're working with. Oh my goodness. That's ridiculous. Other than a little bit of spider, this thing's perfect. I mean, just a little bit of mud from probably a mud dauber, because that's a spider right there. This thing had to have been run out of gas. I mean, the accelerator pump is still supple. I think it probably comes down to we've got to get that throttle plate freed up, and we must have some major vacuum leaks. Our best bet is probably going to be to just cap all of these off, because there is 140 different ones in here. Cap them all off for the time being, see how the car runs. I'm sure it'll run better, and then we'll narrow down what exactly the running issue is. Go ahead. Yeah, I think we had a whole lot of vacuum leaking. I know we got a whole lot of exhaust leaking. start, but man, it's slinging belt absolutely everywhere. Gotta reverse. We're doing all this. You know we gotta try to take this thing for a spin. The brakes actually don't look horrible. No way that master cylinder moves. Nothing else seemed to be too terrible on this car. No way! It's got fluid in it still. Yeah, there's nothing there. Oh yeah. Make sure. See the mud dauber up in there? Always want to make sure your bleeders are good and clear. Brake lines look pretty good. Our hoses aren't terrible. Probably the originals. And again. I'm gonna go ahead and say our hoses are no good. Sure enough, another bad hose. So what actually happens here is the inside, that rubber liner has metal in it. And as it rusts and corrodes and deteriorates, it expands the rubber, closing off our line there. I do believe I have one of these on the shelf though. Yep, there's our brake fluid that we weren't getting none of. Ready? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. All right, hit the brake. Fronts are weak because of the hoses, but the rears feel great. And at the end of the day, this thing needs a full brake job, but I feel safe enough to go up and down the road in it. Brakes working. I do want to also take a quick minute though and go ahead and do a quick vacuum and clean out of this disgusting interior. All I've got to say is, wow. Just a quick vacuum and wipe down. You gotta remember, this is a 50-year-old car. This thing was really nice when it got parked. As far as the interior goes, the jam's cleaned up super nice. All of the plastic and everything's actually still in really nice shape and pliable. This thing's a carpet set, a little bit of seat repair from a really nice interior. With that being said, let's jump in this interior and let's attempt to take this thing for a spin. So we had to see if we could get this top, or if we could get this window here working, because I want to see this thing with all the windows down. Had a little bit of moisture in there. That's about as good as we're gonna get. This thing is superb. I absolutely love this big open no pillar. Brakes are far from superb. I wish this thing had an exhaust. It stops. Pinky driving. Just lost something, I don't know what it was. This thing's so comfortable. This has got to be one of the best first drives ever. This thing drives so good. It smells horrible. There's Miss Carla. Oh, this thing is great. Those brakes are pretty nice. They're definitely not all working together in unison, but it's not bad. Beautiful shifts, first, second, third gear. Steering wheel is dead straight. These tires are really, really, really poor condition. I'm afraid we're probably gonna lose one. They just got off school, one of their last days. You guys wanna go for a ride?
Which my kid.
Is this not cool? Is this cool or what?
It's really cool, and your suit is kind of weird.
Mommy's helping out do some rollers.
The car is cool, and your suit is kind of weird. I get the last dirtiest seat. All right, so what are we doing?
Driving. Is that car big enough for you guys? I wish you guys had suits and sunglasses.
What are we all?
Be cool like me.
Yeah, girls can wear suits and looking out the window.
What do you guys think if I just gave this thing to Mommy and made her drive it every day? Would you guys like that?
Yeah.
Is this better than the minivan?
Yes. No, it is.
Good.
I like the minivan and this. I like both.
You're a good boy.
When will we be able to drive the camper? And it has better seatbelts. Actually, this is actually kind of better. Daddy, look at my dog. Look at my kid. But this is actually better. Yeah, look, my train's gliding out the window.
do you think of the big, what do you think of no pillars? It's just one huge window in the side. Is that cool or what?
Yeah. And we don't have that, and we don't have buckles like normal. Like only that big road.
Oh, you talking about just the lap belts?
Strap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a huge crash back here, and it's more comfortable than Mommy's car. I'm looking at I like having this in Mommy's car.
Did you guys enjoy that?
Yeah, it was really fun.
I'm really glad you guys get to come and have fun with me.
In this car,
Hey, you guys only got one more day left of school and it's summertime. You gonna come help me work on some cars?
Yeah. Look at that boat. Can I use the camera?
We've got your car. You guys still want to get your car running?
Yeah.
Yeah. "106 miles to Nashville. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of Oreos. It's dark. We're wearing sunglasses. Hit it." What a car. And it runs, drives, kinda sorta stops pretty well for 34 years of sitting. It looks pretty good. Carpet, a little bit more interior work, tires, buff, vinyl top, and this thing would be a perfect cruiser. We had kind of considered scuffing, shooting, doing a Blues Brother, but this car being the Brougham and actually being in pretty good shape, I feel like, me personally, I couldn't go hacking this thing up. I think it's a really neat car, and I really hope you all have enjoyed this rescue. If you have and you want to see more rescues similar to this, be sure to subscribe button, notification bell to keep up with our future uploads. And if you have been a part of the channel, we do appreciate it so incredibly much. We get to rescue cool old rides like this because of each and every one of you. So thank you so much. Peace out and catch you all on the flip side.